Hey, it's Chappie's Crypto again for the next episode in my trading journals. It's episode 20, and we are looking at the trading session from the night of the 15th of August, morning of the 16th of August in Australia. And I do trade the New York Open in the futures markets, and I'm trading currently a NASDAQ E-mini micro contract. For people that haven't been following me, first time you may have watched my videos, I am trading a demo account, and my goal is to try and demo my account. I started with a $10,000 balance just over close to 3-4 weeks ago now, and I'm using the Inner Circle Trader trading techniques, and I've been watching his mentorship series on YouTube and trying to apply his theories. So let's get straight into it. This is my session results from last night. Really good results in regards to the actual trading themselves, or the trades I took. Not a huge amount of profit. I'm going to be fully transparent here. I am also going back through. So this is the Inner Circle Trader YouTube channel. If you go and check out his mentorship series, if you go into here, over the weekend, I was actually just watching this episode here. I think it's episode 19. I just finished watching, and it was a really good reminder to me that the point of my videos isn't to brag or skite about some really good results. I've had exceptionally good results for the last 3 weeks or so in general. Pretty stoked to see my account. The moment my demo account's at 14,000, actually got up to 15,000 and took a bit of a hit last week. However, this is really about me documenting my trading journey. So rather than keeping a written journal, the intention of this is for me just to reflect on my trades, try and celebrate as I get better at taking the trades and seeing them. I'm committed to this for the long haul. I've been trading for about 18 months and not consistently profitable as yet. However, the last 3 or 4 weeks has been going well, and I'm really enjoying applying the ICT theories. Not perfect. I'm definitely not fully across all of his approaches, and I definitely get plenty of trades wrong. However, last night was a really, really good night, and I'll go over that now. So profit for last night, only $134, pretty small night. I was a bit gun shy after last week, so I was being super cautious. Total of 4 trades, which I'll go into in a moment, but that's my result. So 75% win rate, pretty stoked with that. And let's have a look at how I went. So this was the day chart, or this is the day chart, current day chart on the micro E-mini NASDAQ futures September 2022 contract. And that's the contract that I trade predominantly. I do keep my eye on the S&P. However, I tend to be totally focused on the NASDAQ. My goal is to really just get really good at trading this particular thing. So last night when I was looking at the markets, just note that candle hadn't formed properly, or this candle either. And my target was here. So I'd actually identified these highs here. So you can imagine if you draw a line straight across here, and I'd actually drew a rectangle at this fair value gap. This indicator I use, the fractal break in balance, marks this for you automatically. But I actually extended out a rectangle here, and I had that, and I was long bias. So I was looking for long trades, and after last week, I really wanted to test myself to make sure if I do take a counter trade, my goal is to get in and out quite quickly. And if I took a trade with a trend, I would be a bit more comfortable to let the trade ride. However, as you'll see, I was a little bit gun shy, so I didn't ride any trades for any extended length of period, and I got out fairly quickly. I have turned off on TradingView. The nice thing about TradingView is you can turn off any of your drawings you may have drawn on the chart. So at the moment I've just hidden those for the moment. So it's this tool over here. If you press that, it'll hide any of the drawings or trend lines or anything you'll have on your charts. But I just wanted to go in a bit of detail here and show you this. Now, I just want to show you on the 15-minute chart what actually played out last night. I took some trades before this, but just before I shut up shop for the night, I saw this form on the 15-minute. Now, if you can imagine, my normal setup is I have a mark out the price at the previous high just before market open and the previous low, and I'm looking for breaks in these areas or these ranges to look for take a potential trade. So after in the first hour or two, I'd already taken 2 or 3 trades by that point. But just before I shut up shop for the night, I noticed this. So you can imagine this, and price had actually done a fairly substantial move higher, and we've got this nice big fair value gap that had formed. And I just was interested to know what would happen, because price shot back down here and it came back down here, and actually it was hanging out in this area, and I did end up taking a long position here. Now I didn't let this trade, and I'll go into detail in the 1 minute what I actually did. I didn't let it ride too long. However, and you'll see in my chart, this actually rode all the way to the target. And one of the things ICT talks about on his mentorship series is the importance of the higher timeframes. The higher timeframes tend to, I suppose, hold more credence or more validity, and probably you could have a bit more confidence if you see a setup on a higher time frame, particularly the 15-minute. And if you go down to the lower ones, they don't, may or may not last as long, or may not have as I suppose as much confidence around them. But this is interesting. This was very much a textbook. You can imagine we've broken up through here, market break. Or breakthrough market structure, and break back down here, took out the fair value gap, and price took an hour and a half for it to really go, and then it just went away. It went. And if I turn on my drawings, you'll actually see this is the fair value gap from way back many weeks ago, if not months ago, and price came right up there. This is the only reason I was a bit hesitant. It actually come up here and already swept a little bit of that, so I wasn't totally confident it was going to revisit that, which is why I got out fairly quickly, but I'll show you. But price did come all the way through, cleared out that entire fair value gap range, and if you're willing to sit in that trade for a while, you could actually had, in my head, I'd actually said if I was going to place a target, I'd place it almost smack bang in the middle of that range, and you would have actually got, you would have hit your target just before lunch. So that was a really cool trade to see play out. Let's get down to the 1 minute here and review my trades from yesterday on the 1 minute chart. So let's just reset that chart and scroll back, and let's see what we can see. So I'm just going to delete this fair value gap. I might just put a horizontal line there just so we can note where that was. I'll just delete that. And let's zoom right down and see what I did. So the very first trade I took was a bit of a silly trade on retrospect. I'll show you what I did here. I actually felt like I'd missed the move, and so I got in a little bit late. But on retrospect, it's just another classic example of over trading just to touch this very first one. So it's okay. I didn't take too much of a hit. I only went in with one contract because I wasn't super confident it was going to be super strong. So the way I looked at this here, if you can see this, the price had actually done this. So price had moved up. We'd had a fair value gap form just here. It actually had revisited this. So for me, if you can imagine, we've got this, and we'll use the trend line here so we can see a nice straight line. Do this. So there's your market structure break. So that's valid. Great. Got a break. It broke, and then it came back down here, touched the fair value gap again. By the time I started to really pay attention, I felt like I may have missed it, but it came down and revisited. So I said, let's jump in here. I actually ended up taking a long dist here. In retrospect, if I'm trading the 1 minute, maybe have your stop loss there may have been a better idea, just so if I got it wrong, I did actually have my stop loss placed down here because I wanted to give it a bit of room to move, and it got me stopped out. So got that one wrong, which is not a massive issue. It's only dealing with one contract there, so I was okay with that, and I just kept being very, very patient. What I was looking for the second time, I was waiting for this to break. So if this broke, I was going to look for the next setup, and alternatively, if we came back up here and broke this, I was going to look for another setup. So yeah, not too long into the session, price definitely broke down below this level. So this time I was looking for another long. Remember, I've got a long bias at the moment on this particular daily range. So we've broken down the bottom here, broke up. We've got market structure break, because that's the market structure there. So we broke that, and I was looking for a fair value gap. We got a fair value gap here. I missed that one. So that would have possibly been a good entry there. It would have been a better entry than I actually got in at. But as I said, I just missed it, and I wasn't paying as much enough attention as I should have. However, that's okay. I kept an eye on it, and another one formed here. So once it broke down here, I actually took 2 contracts there. I felt reasonably good about this. I did have a stop loss placed down here. I think I was only ended up risking about $80, $90 was the stop loss. So I was still fairly comfortable with that. and away we went. I was on the right side of the market, and when the market opened right on 9:30 of the equities market, price just exploded. And it was really, really nice to be on the right side of it. I was a little bit fearful it may have come down here and cleared out this, but obviously the draw on liquidity to the top side was definitely on my side. This is a really good example of not trusting my bias fully. And if I just held on, because remember this is that bottom of that fair value gap I previously identified, price came up. It started to stall a little bit here, and I took one contract out, and I said, you know what, profit's a profit, let's lock in two. So I took the other out as well. In retrospect, if you zoom right back, you'll see this was another level of interest I'd marked out, which just happened to be this previous high from the previous day. So we definitely hit that. So in theory, I possibly could have I took one out once we broke through here. So we broke through that fairly quickly. I took that first one out. I suppose in retrospect, it would have been a really good time at that point to move my stop just above here, and I could have let this last one ride, maybe wait for it to hit to this level that I'd already marked out. And if I was super patient, I could have waited for this. I actually had an opportunity here to re-enter as well. So in theory, if I'd taken the second partial out at that point, or closed that trade off, it came back down here, and this would have been a really good time to re-enter. So I could have actually marked out at the 50% of that range, so that there would have been a great entry, and it just played out beautifully. You could have taken another partial here, another one there at the previous target identified, and on the 15-minute, and this has ended up me being taking that trade on the 15-minute. I'd placed another one contract there, and I watched it. It came up here, and what you'll see, I was actually up in a really good dollar value for profit there. Came up again, and it started to break away, and I thought, you know what, I think it's done, because I'd seen it take out these levels, and I thought the move may have been over for the day. So I just cut the trade at a $32 profit. It did come down. It came down just below my entry. By that stage, I'd effectively gone to bed. I woke up in the morning to see it had come all the way up, hit the target, cleared out that whole fair value gap, and it played out exactly as predicted. If you watch Kyle and Moon on crypto, exactly as predicted. Anyway, that was ICT. Just from my perspective, a bit of a textbook session last night. So August, ICT talks a lot about August being a very, very choppy month. It has been very difficult to trade this last week, particularly. I did struggle quite a lot last week. However, I've got a lot of, I'm really focusing on trying to be disciplined, really wait for these setups. In retrospect, that's probably the only one that I regret doing. It was not a regret necessarily, but when I look at this definitely, one of the things I need to focus on doing is on that 15-minute time frame, make sure before the session starts that I've really clearly marked out these levels. So, stay true to that. So wait for those levels to be broken, possibly, and that's definitely where that setup happened. So that was my first setup, and within that, you'll see that I took that first trade. So I wouldn't even take the first trade if I'd stuck to that trading plan, and it didn't break out that at that point. So yeah, definite setup there. Textbook ICT setup overnight. There you go. So we look forward to another night tonight. I'll just have a quick look at the forex.com. So for people that are not familiar with this, there is this great site, which is forexfactory.com. If you come on here, it'll show you any news that's coming up today that may affect the markets. So it's currently 6:33 a.m. in New York time. And at the moment, the only thing I'm really paying attention to, anything that's in red, maybe orange. So the Canadian dollar has got the CPI, so it's obviously the CPI figures for Canada. I don't think that's going to have any major impact necessarily on the on Nasdaq, but you never know. So I don't know, because I'm still fairly inexperienced with the future space. However, if you click on that over here, you can read some details about here what the actual news is that's going to be released. So yeah, just note at 8:30 there is some news. So if you're trading the markets, keep your eye on that. The other thing here in Australia, they've got the wage price index being released, and there's a whole bunch of news coming out of New Zealand. So yeah, is this going to affect the futures markets? I personally don't think it's going to have a major impact necessarily, but it's just an opinion. Got no idea. We'll find out tonight when the markets open. I'll be really interested to see how the markets respond, if these have any impact. The rest of these yellow, things in yellow, According to my understanding of the site, they are fairly low impact. So I'm not overly, don't think there's any news today that's going to be overly concerning, which is okay. The other thing I'm going to do now is I'll have a quick look and just get ready for tonight's session. So let's go back to the 15-minute. Actually, I'll go right up to the daily, and let's just see if we can identify where we think price might be drawn to. Now, when I look at this, it's interesting. So if I use the Fibonacci tool here, it's not the Fibonacci tool. If I use the Fib retracement tool, which is up here, and come down like this to the bottom of this range, we've got the 50 level. So we're actually currently in this big range here, actually trading in a premium at the moment. So although the price may be drawn up a bit further, I'm not as confident as I was last night, because last night we were still in a premium, but we had these levels to hit. Price may get drawn up here and may get drawn to this level, but I'm a little bit more hesitant about where price is going to draw to. So tonight, a little bit less confident than I was last night, so I'll be super cautious. I'll be interested to see, if I just turn off these again for a second, you can see here that this area has been fully balanced, or the imbalance has been attacked by these price movements here. We definitely have this as a bit of a target that the price may get drawn to, but we've got this nice big fair value gap that's just formed since yesterday's trade. So I won't be surprised at all if today we see this price come back down and maybe recover this before it starts its move back up again. So for tonight, I may have a short-term tendency to be a little bit short biased, or possible short trades. It is Monday though, so sorry, Tuesday. It's only the second day of the week. If you've watched any of the market maker stuff or Steve Morrow stuff, he talks a lot about midweek reversals. So it'll be interesting to see if price continues to move this way, and then maybe Wednesday we get the retracement. But this area here, I'll be interested to see if this gets taken. I doubt price is going to come back below here. So that would be an area I'm doubtful we're going to hit down that far. So yeah, this, because I don't fully understand order blocks yet, and if you've been watching ICT's work, I think my understanding, this is the last red candle before a significant move up. So for me, is that a bearish order block? Not 100% sure. I think it might be. So I'm doubtful, but I'd probably say this is an area I doubt price is going to come back down to in the next little while. But I think this is fair game. So for me, I might just be a little bit careful of watching for a price movement down here. I might even draw on my chart here. I'll just mark out this as a potential area where price may come to. If price gets to this level, I would not be surprised if it bounces off that. Interestingly, I've already drawn. Oops, sorry about that. I'll just get rid of that, and I might just get rid of these other lines just so we don't get distracted tonight. There you go. So that's. And I might just mark out. I know that not everyone loves stuff drawn all over the charts. I don't mind it personally. Sometimes it just helps me. I'm just going to draw that fair value gap out there. So it's extended. So when I go down to the lower time frames, it's a bit easier to see. If you look at the 1 hour, interestingly, that this fair value gap is not fully recovered. So that there on the 1 hour, it did come down into that overnight. It hasn't fully covered that. So once again, we've got this is a fair value gap on the daily. So I wouldn't be surprised if price just drifts down here and then we go there. So that would be my bias for tonight. Could be totally wrong. We'll wait and see. This is an area that I'm expecting prices possibly going to bounce off. So let's see if we get this tonight. There you go. Video is way too long. Apologize for people that are getting ready to tune out. Enjoy your trading journey. If you're not already, check out the Inner Circle Trader on YouTube. I don't get paid or anything like that to promote his stuff. I just find it extremely valuable, and it is free. So I can't recommend it highly enough. Until next time, it's Chappie's Crypto signing out. That's all I've got to say for now. So bye for now.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. understands this night away.